Hi, welcome back to Michael Workspace. I am Michael, and in the last video, we talked about what are variables in Python, and we also cover what the different data types that Python support. And in today's lesson, we're going to go a little bit more deeper into numbers. Okay, so let's begin. So I'm in VS Code here. I'm going to go ahead and create a new file, and call it numbers. Sorry, it has to be numbers.py. Numbers.py, so now this is a Python file. So let's quickly go over the different types of numbers again, and they are, I'm going to go ahead and create a comment by doing a hash. So 3 types in Python. Let me go ahead and increase my font size so you can see a little bit easier. And we have int, float, and complex. And to show you what those are again, I'm going to create a couple of variables here. A equals 5, B equals 7.5, and C equals 6 plus 5j. Now, this one right here is an int, and this variable B is a float, and variable C is a complex number. And a complex number is made up of a real part, which is 6 here in this case, and then an imaginary part, which is and we use J in Python in mathematics. They uses I. And a float is just a number that contains a floating point or a decimal point, and an integer is just a whole number. And another thing is that in Python there is no limits to the size of what a integer is. So you can have as large a number as you want, as long as your computer can handle that space in memory. So let's talk about what kind of operation we can perform on these numbers. And of course, there are arithmetics. So in arithmetic, we have these 4 common operations, which is addition, subtraction. I'm going to go type in shorthand notation without typing out the whole thing. Multiplication and division. And how to do, so let's just quickly go over, let's just try A plus B. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and print out what A plus B is, and I'm going to show you what happened here. Well, I could have just thrown that in a variable. It probably would have been easier. Just go like that. D is equal to A plus B, so I'm going to go print D, and then we'll run it real quick. And then you see that the result is a 12.5, which is what 5 plus 7.5 is, and it's a floating point. So whenever you perform sort of a arithmetic operation between 2 numbers, and there are different data types, what Python does is that it uses the widest data types to convert those the smaller data types into and return the widest data type. So for in this case, we have A, which is an integer, and B, which is a float, and a float is wider than an integer, and also a complex number is wider than a float. So you get the result is a float for this in this use case. All right, so we can do some other stuff like A times B. I'm just going to go ahead and print A times B instead of creating a new variable for that. And of course, that's multiplication, and we use an asterisk sign for multiplication. Go ahead and print that out, and you get the expected value of 37.5 as a result. And then we can also do A divided by B, and then we have obviously a smaller number, but again, is a float. And then lastly, we can also do operation on complex numbers. So we can do A print what is A times C, which is a complex number, and it's going to return a complex number is the result. So because complex numbers are wider than floats and floats are wider than ints. So we have that. And then let's talk about some other stuff that you can do in arithmetic. We can get the remainder, and the way that we get the remainder is by using a percent sign, which is also called, the technical term is the modular operator. So to get the remainder of b, which is 7.5, divided by a, well, not divided by, but the modulo of a, we get 2.5 because 5 goes into 7.5 once, and the remainder of that leftover is 2.5. So you can think about it as 7.5 subtract 5, and you get 2.5 as the remainder. All right, and lastly, I just want to talk about that whenever you're doing division, remember that in mathematics and in any other programming languages, you cannot divide by 0. So you get a, so let's go ahead and do this real quick. I'll show you. We'll create another variable here, call it e equals 0, and then I'm going to try divide print b divided by e, which is 0, and then save this, and we're going to get an error, and we get a division by 0 division error, and that would, if you do not handle this error in your program, this would cause an error and cause your program to crash or not function or not be able to run properly. So just keep that in mind, and yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.